Well, hello everyone and welcome to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where the high desert air is cooling off, but inside the lab, things just beginning to heat up as New Mexico United play host to Western Conference foe Las Vegas Lights FC. Welcome in here. My name is Tyler Ortega, joined as always by Chris Hurst. And Chris, these are two teams that are sitting towards the bottom of the USL Championship Western Conference standings, looking to make up some ground this evening.
Yeah, Tyler, looking forward to an exciting game tonight. When these two teams step on the field, there's normally fireworks, and neither team's really tearing it up. So that tends to lead to an exciting match, and let's hope that's the case tonight.
Well, let's go ahead and jump right into things with our players to watch, brought to you by Toyota, Chris. And we'll start off first with the Scotsman from New Mexico. Got off the mark in the midweek against El Paso, bagged his first 2 goals of the season, Chris.
Yeah, forwards are notoriously streaky, and if you're a New Mexico United fan, you're hoping that this is the start of a hot streak for Greg Hurst. And considering it was his first 2 goals of the season, he took them so well and looked like a player who was full of confidence in New Mexico United, hoping that continues tonight.
And you talk about players that are full of confidence. Our player to watch for Las Vegas tonight, none other than Johnny Rodriguez. 5 goals, 1 assist through his first 8 matches, Chris. It's the best start to his career to a single USL season.
Yeah, and riding a wave as well is Rodriguez, the reigning USL Championship goal of the week for his effort against Lexington last time out, an absolute thunderbolt.
These two will be looking to make an impact tonight. The 2026 New Mexico United season is brought to you by Sandia Resort and Casino. Close to home, far from ordinary. Lineups and kickoff on the other side of this.
Ding dong.
Mountain dude?
The mountain is calling.
Give me a mountain, lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. True. All I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing mountain. Yeah, give me the sunshine, give me a dew.
Back here at the lab, kickoff just moments away. Well, it is country night tonight, and tonight's match brought to you by NM811, reminding you to call before you dig. Chris, let's take a look at our starting lineups this evening, brought to you by Will Ferguson and Associates. And as you look at this starting lineup for New Mexico United, 2 changes here tonight. No Chris Gloucester, but more notably, no Chris Shakes. And that means Raiko Arozarena making his first USL Championship start for New Mexico, and it comes against his former club.
Yeah, there's nothing more powerful than a player with a point to prove. So Rosarena against his former team will be looking to impress. Interested to see Kip Keller just slide into the back four as well for New Mexico United.
This a look at the starting lineup for Las Vegas Lights. Devin Rensing also makes 2 changes tonight. One of them, Chris, out of necessity, they're going to be without their midfield engine, Mark Ibarra. He picked up a straight red card last weekend against Lexington, so they're going to be relying on Locker and Ochere to really be the engine in that midfield. And you mentioned it, Chris. Fireworks. Each time these teams get together, you can see here at least 3 goals scored in 4 of the past 5 previous matchups.
Yeah, and that's obviously something that, everyone's hoping to see as an exciting game tonight. And there's no secret as well, Las Vegas have really struggled on the road this year, which can cause its own excitement as well. Like, they haven't won the games, but there's always been goals involved in them. So we're obviously hoping that continues tonight as well.
That is the man between the sticks for New Mexico this evening. We are underway from the lab in Albuquerque. Again, thanks for joining us. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris Hurst. It's the second of 2 this week at home for New Mexico, Chris. They're coming off a midweek draw to their arch rivals to the south, El Paso Locomotive.
Yeah, and it was a tale of 2 halves on Wednesday night for New Mexico United. Really dominated the first half, started really well and pushed back a really strong El Paso team. El Paso have started the season very strongly this year. Second half, El Paso really showed their class and deserved of the tie-in goal, and maybe could have thought that they could have gone on and won it as well. So New Mexico United probably happy with the point when it was all said and done.
Well, immediately, New Mexico looking to ask some questions. This is Valentin Noel inside of the first minute. Usman Jabang also doing battle against his former club. Hamalainen with that left foot, whips the cross in. Comes out to LaCava. Reed Steven with a lovely backheel flick, just couldn't connect with his teammate there. Reed Steven wins the ball back. That ball parried away. And we'd like to point out tonight, fans, that kickoff is brought to you by Bank of America. We'd also like to let you know that at Bellevue University, your success is the only thing that matters. That's why they offer education that's designed to help you achieve your next goal. Find out more at degrees.bellevue.edu/goals. Well, Chris, I think one of the big storylines that you're looking at here tonight is Las Vegas's ability to score goals. However, their inability to keep goals out from the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, they were, I think they're now the 3rd worst defense in the entire USL Championship. Away from home, they've managed to score 9 goals in the 4 games, but they've conceded 13. It's like 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 4-2 are the scores that they've lost the 4 away games so far this season. So, again, being able to find the back of the net for sure, but really having trouble keeping it out at the other end.
As we mentioned, Raiko Arozarena getting the start against his former club, Chris. 19 clean sheets for the Lights over the last couple of seasons. Also had 4 penalty saves. So he's somebody that you can rely on, especially in big moments.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why he was brought to the club as well, and that's someone, and again, point to prove tonight, and everyone, there's a few players on the field tonight that have a point to prove, whether it's against a former team or just, getting their first chance. Kip Keller, it's going to be really interesting. He's maybe struggled a little bit with injuries at the start of the season here, but he was a huge part of the success of New Mexico United last season, so he'll be very excited to be given a chance to try and prove a point tonight.
Jabang with the interception, links up with his former Las Vegas teammate and Valentin Noel. And Deon Harris just couldn't corral that ball. Had a couple of Lights defenders surrounding him. And yeah, Chris, a lot of connections between these 2 clubs here. That being one of them. Dennis Sanchez on the touchline for New Mexico United. This is his 2nd season with the club. And prior to that, Chris, he spent the previous season in 2024 with Las Vegas Lights led them to their best ever season. They reached the Western Conference Final.
Yeah, and the first season without Dennis Sanchez last year did not go well for Las Vegas Lights, finishing rock bottom of the Western Conference. And Dennis Sanchez right now, currently two seasons in a row, has made the Western Conference Final. Obviously, Las Vegas Lights ended the New Mexico United season in his last year with them, and then last year New Mexico United making the Western Conference Final as well, unfortunately falling at that hurdle. So he's, as a coach, he's on a little bit of a streak himself.
This is the Frenchman, Valentin Noel, still looking for his first goal of the season. Hamalainen finds Harris, cuts it back, and Deon Harris flagged for offside. The speedster just getting a little bit of ahead of himself there, Chris.
Yeah, I'm looking to see maybe Deon Harris getting a little more involved tonight. Really struggled to find the game on Wednesday night. Talking about speed, that's obviously one of his huge positive attributes he has for New Mexico, and the way El Paso defended, it just kind of nullified that. And already early on, he's been pretty active, especially in the runs he's made. So excited to see if he can open up this left-hand channel for New Mexico and create some fireworks off the left.
Well, Deon Harris, you talk about fireworks. He's scored in 3 of his last 4 matches here at the Lab, Chris. Wednesday was the one outlier in that data set. He's somebody that can, really utilize that pace to turn something out of nothing. Las Vegas look to play this ball over the top, and Olex Anderson unable to track that ball down. And that's our center official tonight, Denny Kolasenak. Assistant referees Benjamin Davis and Brendan Lucas. Our fourth official tonight is Charlie Delgadillo. Jake LaCava, Chris, you really liked what you saw from him on Wednesday.
Yeah, first chance Wednesday night was the first chance for me to really see the team in the flesh. And LaCava, when he got up to speed, I think it was Moreno was trying to defend him, and LaCava, even with the ball at his feet, just turned the turbos on and just pulled away from Moreno in unbelievable pace, which is a huge attribute. And obviously, he's lead assist for New Mexico United with 2 so far this season, and not afraid to join in the attack. And with the natural athletic ability, that's a huge weapon for New Mexico United.
Reed Stephen hits the brakes and eventually gets that ball to another former Las Vegas man in Malik Howell. This ball takes a deflection, falls to Deon Harris. It looked like Lanfear was able to make a save on that initial shot. Danger not cleared away yet. LaCava, going back to him, Chris, it's just his first season here with New Mexico. However, a very seasoned veteran when it comes to the USL Championship level. Tonight marks his 154th league appearance. Hamalainen gets the cross in. Jones able to head it away. Noel's got space once again. You see Noel, Chris, just kind of floating around here for Dennis Sanchez early. Which
is great to see. That's really when Valentin Noel is at his best, is when he's not rigid in his role there. He's able to float and find the ball, because when Noel has the ball at his feet, good things tend to happen, and that's another reason why New Mexico was so interested in bringing him to the club, and scored some big goals at the back end of last season as well, had some big plays as well. So, and another player who maybe struggled to have the impact he would have liked on Wednesday night, so looking to make an early impact here.
Pope able to head this ball away. It only goes as far as Hamalainen, who tees one up. Jones able to get a leg in for the block. Great challenge there from Reed Stephen, wins the ball back. Reed Stephen, cross goes in. And Deon Harris just couldn't get on the end of that. But New Mexico, Chris, asking all the questions early, and Devin Rensing on the Las Vegas Lights sideline pondering.
Yeah, a lot of dangerous attacks and balls flashed across the box as well. New Mexico United not shy about getting to that end line and trying to put the ball in dangerous areas, and Las Vegas really struggling to deal with what New Mexico have to offer right now. Little wayward from Japan there, a little ambitious you might say, but you can tell when New Mexico United seem to be really in the mood right now and really pushing the pace.
Chris, I'm sure all of the stats that we saw about the Las Vegas defense, I'm sure the New Mexico United technical staff saw that as well, and they're looking to start off fast here tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you come up against a team that doesn't necessarily travel well, you absolutely, like kind of foot on throat mentality and really kind of press that home advantage, home there. And I mean, one thing that New Mexico United are is a lot stronger when they have the home faithful behind them, and if they can get the home crowd excited and really on their side, this becomes a really hard place to play.
Lee Cowell looking to switch the angle here. Some great link-up play on this left side so far, Chris, between Hamalainen, Noel, and Dayon Harris.
Yeah, Hamalainen, it's great to see him. Obviously, watched on TV first few games of the season and stuff, but seeing him at centre back versus seeing him at left back, it's a completely different player. I mean, it is a completely different position as well, but seeing maybe the shackles off a little bit and him be able to join in the attack, see what a danger he's going to be with his left foot.
Here's Olex Anderson. Las Vegas looking for their first opportunity here this evening. Olex Anderson, cross goes in. He was able to work his way by Jake LaCava, and it's going to be a goal kick for New Mexico, but that almost got ugly.
Good things happen when you get to the end line. You can really see the carnage it causes when you force centre-backs to face their own goal. It really causes some uncertainty. And you can see the Las Vegas coaching staff, they're really happy there. And you see the referee as well. It took a moment to decide whether it was a goal kick or a corner, kind of taking a second to ponder who it actually came off at the end. Because it was a little bit of a cluster.
Keller goes back to Rosarena. This is LaCava. Finds Noel, who's got tons of space. He's got options, does Noel. Noel on the right foot. His shot blocked. Looking to score against his former club, Chris. It's actually something that he did just last season. Las Vegas made their trip down to Albuquerque in August of last year. And if you remember, Chris, it was when Valentin Noel, just 5 minutes in, chipped Raiko Rosarena from about 40 yards out.
I wonder if he's mentioned that in the clubhouse. But that was great play by Noel. You could see just positive all the way, and he carried the ball, 30, 35, 40 yards, and then it kind of opened up a little bit. So you thought, why not? And again, the confidence just kind of racing through this New Mexico United team early on.
Ochere finds Pinzon, cuts it back on the left foot, and Pinzon just off frame. And while we've got a second, let's quickly take a look at our keys to the match. For New Mexico, Chris, you were just talking about this. Score the first goal, win balls in the air, and keep pressing. So this is our first corner of the evening. It comes in the 14th minute. This is Antonoglu. Antonoglu whips this one in. Rosarena punches it away. Makes a second save, does Rosarena. Antonoglu, another cross. And Johnny Rodriguez off the mark. But New Mexico withstanding an onslaught there, Chris.
Yeah, Las Vegas Lights all of a sudden come to the party. Just dangerous cross after dangerous cross into the box. And Rosarena having to be on his toes there. And dealt with the corner. I love seeing him towering above Kip Keller there and just clearing everything out. You can see there, Kip Keller, if the keeper shouts that it's his ball and you don't get out of the way, all bets are off. And I love that he just cleared everything out there and then got set quickly and was able to deal with the follow-up as well.
Well, another costly turnover here for New Mexico. Here's Pinzon. Gets it back from Rodriguez. Pope now. Let's take a look at our injury report this evening for New Mexico. Just Joseph Melto Cuiaya still awaiting his club debut. He's out with a lower body injury. Jones goes back to Guillen. Guillen turns this ball over. New Mexico could be on to something. Greg Hurst just had it poked away, and that stopped the attack.
That's someone's name that, despite all the attacking prowess that New Mexico United have shown early on in the game here, Greg Hurst, very few touches so far. You see he's maybe coming a little bit deeper just to try and get involved in the play there, and unable to do so on that occasion.
Great turn there from Jabang. Finds Deon Harris. Harris has his shot blocked, and that's going to set up a corner kick here for New Mexico. Well, Chris, the Lab, they're trying to make it a fortress, and it's been 8 straight unbeaten here for the black and yellow.
Yeah, and that's obviously huge, like you say, especially if you get this home crowd on side as well. It becomes a really hostile atmosphere, and the place can get bouncing, and not a place with the atmosphere and the altitude and the heat. Like today, it's been a really, really hot day. It can be a very, very intimidating place to come.
First corner kick of the evening. Corner kicks brought to you by Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. Hello, crisp, refreshing taste. Hello, Topo Chico Hard Seltzer. This is the Barbados international Niall Reed-Steven. Sends the in-swinger in, and Noel was wide open at the back post, Chris, and just unable to direct that ball on frame.
Yeah, that looked like a designed play there. Noel slipped his marker. I'm assuming there was a pick in the middle of the box somewhere, and he just drifts into the back post. And Stephen Reed puts an absolute brilliant ball in, and look at that, wide open at the back post. Have to hit the target. Noel will be very disappointed there.
Well, this one, it's been pretty lively here, Chris, through the first 17 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a fun game. You can tell that it's been an exciting game because I think the first, like say, 17 minutes have flown by as well. That's a sign of how intense and how much entertainment there is out there. And it is, even though it's 0-0, it's been a really entertaining start to the game.
Look, and we know Dennis Sanchez and his style is to possess the ball, right? They're doing it, Chris, at an extraordinary rate here through these opening 15 minutes. The black and yellow with 74% possession through the first 15.
And that, possession stats can be weird, but the good thing is, there's a lot of games when New Mexico United dominate the ball. The argument or the issue that's aimed at them sometimes is that it's maybe a little bit too negative at times, or the centre-backs are the ones who pass the ball, but they're playing forwards. They're getting the attacking players on the ball early now.
Pinzon cross. It's well over the head of Olex Anderson. Olex Anderson, the 30-year-old from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 41 caps for his nation, 20 goals. Here's a look at current conditions in the high desert here in Albuquerque. As you mentioned, it was kind of a weird week, right, Chris, here in Albuquerque. On Tuesday, it was raining, it was overcast, it was low 50s for a high, and today, 87 degrees, it was sunny. Beautiful conditions here this evening now that it's, the sun is set. It's finally starting to cool off a little bit.
Yeah, May really turned up today.
Foul called. Reed-Steven finds himself on the ground, but that's going to bring up our first TLC free kick of the evening. TLC Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Ousmane Jabang, 17 appearances for Las Vegas Lights during that 2024 season. New Mexico made a move for him to start 2025. Very clearly one of Dennis Sanchez's guys, as Rakava plays this cross in. Headed away by Pope. Jabang gets a foot in that time.
Yeah, great work by Jabang there. You could see Lacava out of position, and he recognised it and stepped across. That little rotation of positions there and won a really important tackle to stop the counter-attack.
Here's Jabang. That ball from Zico Bailey goes wayward. Blake Pope, 23 years old. Spent the last couple of seasons in the Portland Timbers organization. Spent most of his time in MLS Next Pro. Over 100 appearances in MLS Next Pro. Keller plays this ball back to Lacava. Mexico look to play out of the back here. You mentioned it's the return of Kip Keller tonight, Chris. Haven't seen Keller since late March. In fact, March 28th against Switchbacks. He came on as a second half sub and was subbed off before the full-time whistle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, he's been battling with some injuries early on here. It'll be very interesting to see if he lasts the full 90 tonight. Maybe it's a planned amount of minutes just to kind of build up some fitness. But again, when he came into the team last year, he basically displaced Maples, when Maples was such a huge part of this team. So that shows the trust that Coach Sanchez has in him, and the belief in his abilities to be able to dislodge such an important player for New Mexico United. So it's great to see him back on the pitch.
Ball flicked on, and Rodriguez just can't connect that time. Deion Harris under pressure. Turns the ball over. There's the pressure from Carson Locker. Locker just 18 years old, as Anderson sent an absolute laser of a cross in there, Chris.
Yeah, Anderson's definitely the guy for Las Vegas right now. He's got to that end line a couple of times and put some vicious balls in, and that's someone that Carver's going to have his hands full tonight.
Another cross comes in for Las Vegas. Locker unable to beat Malik Howell to the ball that time. It does, however, bring up another Las Vegas corner kick.
Yeah, that left-hand side for Las Vegas Lights really starting to reap some rewards for them and able to pen New Mexico United. New Mexico United had the early going, the first 10 minutes, let's say, but Las Vegas have really come into the game, and again, specifically down that left-hand side for them.
The Italian Probo sends the corner in, and it goes over the head of everyone. Jones couldn't track that ball down. Malik Howell, the Jamaican international, 3 caps for the Reggae Boys. Made 43 appearances for Las Vegas Lights from 24 to 25, just 27 years old. And he had himself a pretty good game on Wednesday night, Chris.
Yeah, really enjoy saying it. Like he's obviously a really decent defender and does exactly what it says on the tin. Is basically what they would say in England. You know, he doesn't seem to mind those physical confrontations.
What a flick from Greg Hurst! And he unleashes one over the crossbar. But the Scotsman looking to add to his goal tally.
Yeah, lovely little flick around the corner. Got enough spin on it to kind of beat the defender. I'm not saying this was as good as Dennis Bergkamp, but if you remember Dennis Bergkamp against Newcastle, that's what it made me think of immediately back in the day. And a little flick around the corner definitely meant it. I think he owes me a drink for mentioning him in the same sentence as Dennis Bergkamp, though.
Well, the opportunities are starting to mount for both sides, really, Chris. Offside flag is up on Johnny Rodriguez that time. Final from the Eastern Conference, Hartford Athletic, double up Detroit City. Tough start for Sporting Jacksonville, Chris. They were tied in that second half, and Indy able to find a game winner. Here comes Dayon Harris. Shocking result. You don't typically see Lou City get shut out at Lynn Family Stadium. Jabang.
Just seen that Tampa Bay score pop up there. I think that's maybe only the 5th goal that they've conceded this year. Unbelievable start to the season defensively.
Tampa Bay, they'll be making their visit out to New Mexico, Chris, here in just about a week and a half. They're here on May 20th, which is a Wednesday night, is New Mexico. They have another Wednesday, Saturday, double home week coming up. And so one of the league's stingiest defenses come into the lab. Quite the contrary from what we have here tonight in Las Vegas. But, you know, that being said, New Mexico still looking for a breakthrough. There's a fun stat. New Mexico as a club approaching the century mark in the wins column. 91 wins as a club so far. As Dayon Harris cuts this ball back on the right foot. This ball finds Charlie Lanfear.
You see Las Vegas Lights, as soon as New Mexico United have the ball now, Kip Keller, Malik Howell having a lot of the ball, and Las Vegas just dropping into, it's almost like a 4-1-4-1 formation. Really not a whole lot of space for New Mexico United to try and play, so if they win the ball, trying to play a little quicker, trying to play forwards a little quicker, that's what was serving them so well early on in the game. They've just gone away from that a little bit.
You mentioned Dennis Sanchez during his time at Las Vegas Lights. Won 16 games there during his time. Drew 11, lost 12. It's about 1.5 points per match, Chris, during his tenure here at New Mexico. 22 wins, 6 draws, 17 losses. Good enough for 1.6 points per match. So stocks are rising. As he searches for that breakthrough to that elusive USL Championship final. Minutes gone by here at the lab in Albuquerque. Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. The sun setting on the beautiful Sandia Mountains off in the backdrop. As both of these teams searching for the opener. Jones goes back to Guillen. Well, Chris, what have you seen here through the opening half hour from Las Vegas?
I mean, obviously they've grown into the game. This left-hand side, here comes Anderson again, and again, Carver had his hands full, and that's really the outlet that Las Vegas are trying to pick at on that New Mexico United right-hand side, their left-hand side, and it has bore some fruit. You know, he's been very lively, put some really dangerous crosses in the box. There you can just see again, Jaban, great first touch there. I think that was Locker, who was just forced to bring him down, took a yellow card for his team, because to tell you what, there was green grass in front of Jaban there. That was one of the times that I was just talking about before, where in transition, if they can turn when Vegas do eventually send players forward, if they can play forwards a little quicker than what they've done the last 10, 12 minutes or so, they'd start finding some more joy, because the chances have really dried up for New Mexico United.
You were correct about that. It was the 18-year-old Carson Locker. Yellow card in here, 31 minutes in. Yellow cards brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm. New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years. Here's Noel. Finds Bailey. Bailey. Little step over. Zico Bailey. Cross. Reed Stephen opens up the scoring for New Mexico. It's his third goal of the campaign. He's the leading scorer for the black and yellow.
That chance starts from Valentin Noel, able to drift out wide. We talked about it earlier on in the broadcast, when he's not so rigid in his positioning and not stuck centrally. Drifted wide, created those numbers up in the wide areas. Zico Bailey gets joined in on that left-hand side as well. What a little step over it was by Zico Bailey, and what a ball across the box. I think it was Greg Hurst who had the first chance, couldn't quite reach it, and as any good attacking player does, sniffing around the 18-yard box, trying to find a chance, and there's Reed Stephen at the back post, just waiting to slot it into an empty net.
It's his second goal at the lab just this season, Chris. This is a player that was brought in to replace Makwele Akale, and the production that came from him. Safe to say he's off to a good start.
Yeah, and I mean, we mentioned this on Wednesday. What big shoes they are to fill. Akale, fan favourite, and obviously the production as well. But yeah, off to an absolute flyer, you know, and you deserved the call up and the pull up from USL League One up into the USL Championship, and right now he's looking like he's making himself right at home.
Niall Reed Stephen, you mentioned he made the jump from USL League One, spent last season at South Georgia Tormenta, scored 13 goals, had 7 assists. He was a USL League One all-league selection. And it's difficult to make that transition. He's making it look easy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just impressive being able to do it so seamlessly, you know, and it just explodes onto the scene and able to step into those shoes and again fill such a huge void left when Akale left as well. So really well done to him.
That goal from Niall Reed Stephen brought to you by Vara Winery and Distillery. As Las Vegas Lights will look to answer back. This is a similar situation, Chris, to what Lights found themselves in last week against Lexington. They gave up the first goal just 6 minutes in, but then were able to punch back just 5 minutes later by way of their talisman, Johnny Rodriguez. As this one unleashed from distance. It is well over the crossbar of Raiko Arozarena. But Las Vegas Lights, Chris, coming back to win last week after conceding the first goal. It was the first time they had done that since September of 2024. It was 23 straight without a win. New Mexico will hope that is more of the trend here this evening.
Yeah, I think obviously the difference being Las Vegas Lights at home versus Las Vegas Lights on the road are two very different teams, it appears. So yeah, I mean that's again, they don't struggle to score goals on the road. They've shown that over the season so far. Scored 9 in 4 games, which is a great return. When you're away from home, you're scoring 9 goals in 4 games. That's a great return away from home. But it's the goals conceded, and again they're such a talisman for New Mexico United. Valentin Noel just be able to drift into that space on the left-hand side and create numbers up against Pope, the right back for Vegas. And yeah, that license, that freedom that he has, if he can do that a few more times, that's really when New Mexico United have looked at their best so far tonight.
Deon Harris unable to keep that ball in play. Anderson walled off by the physicality of Jake LaCava. Malik Howell does well to get that ball away. Hamalainen now. Harris lays it forward for Noel, and well, keeps it in play. Really all for naught. Here's Ochere. Rodriguez. And just look how deep Johnny Rodriguez is sinking to get the ball, Chris, and try to get involved in this offense.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier about Greg Hurst as well, right? He's just, attacking players really want to feel like they're involved, and the deeper they come, that's when they feel like they may be a little isolated. So yeah, he's feeling like his role right now is to drop a little deeper, just to get Las Vegas Lights a little higher up the field.
And through the opening 37 minutes, Chris, New Mexico, they've done a really good job of quieting that Pinzon and Rodriguez connection. It's typically Pinzon creating the movement and the chaos that opens that space for Johnny Rodriguez. And so when Vegas scores, it's typically a good chance both are involved somehow. But Kip Keller, he's looking pretty sound defensively in his return from injury.
Yeah, it's really been the other side. It's been, like you say, we said Anderson on the left-hand side has really been the key for Las Vegas and the brightest in terms of an attacking threat for them as well. So yeah, it's really been, that's probably something that New Mexico United have looked at and tried to force Las Vegas Lights down that left-hand side.
Here's Jabang. Finds the goal scorer, Niall Reed-Steven. Cross goes in. Falls to Hamalainen. Kava resets the attack here for New Mexico. First connects with Jabang. Valentin Noel cuts it in on the right foot. Kava. Fans, we want to let you know that you can Turn to the CBS Sports Network May 16th for a round 2 Brinks Tires USL Cup Group 6 matchup as Dayon Harris puts a shot on frame. Richmond Kickers hosting Charleston Battery at 6 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, May 16th. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network. Here come lights. Anderson looking to get on the end of this, and Olex Anderson levels things for Las Vegas 40 minutes in. And the Lab has been stunned.
It's that guy Anderson, Mr. Anderson on the left-hand side. But he's been lively, and Rodriguez does a really good job right in the build-up where he just leans into Howell and creates that little bit of separation that gives him a little bit of time and space to pop the ball out onto the right-hand side. And then it's Pinzon who plays the ball into Anderson. Anderson, no questions at all about his finish. Just slots it past Rosarena with some venom. Nothing really the keeper could do about it.
And for Olex Anderson, you talk about a proven goal scorer, Chris. 20 goals for his national team. That's his 55th goal as a professional.
Just seeing this, and from our angle, we couldn't see from up in the booth, but in off the post, couldn't put it more in the corner. No stopping that, and that little ball, Pinzon didn't even need to break stride, really, but yeah, in off the post. Nothing Rosarena could do anything about there. And he said, Las Vegas Lights on the road, they can score goals. It's potentially going to be a shootout. Can New Mexico United come out on top of that? But what a response by the Lights.
As they did last Saturday, equalizing within 10 minutes. New Mexico looking to ask more questions. Greg Hurst has his shot blocked. Lights now looking to break in transition. Look at Hurst tracking all the way back. Noel thought he had an interception. Rodriguez, and he's going to be whistled for the foul. The high boot there from Johnny Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez there, a little loose with his first touch. But let's not forget, in the build-up to the goal for Las Vegas Lights, a huge save by Lanfier right before there from Dayon Harris. We were right behind it, and it took a wicked deflection on its way through, and did really well to keep it out. And I think it was Julien actually went back and gave him a huge high five, because that was a huge turning point, going from potentially 2-0 down to 1-1. Huge by the Las Vegas goalkeeper right there.
Here's New Mexico looking for the go-ahead goal before the half. Dayon Harris wins the corner. Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. Hello, crisp, refreshing taste. Hello, Topo Chico hard seltzer. Actually, I thought it was a corner kick. They're saying it's a goal kick. Bad ball from LaCava. Gets his second chance. This one goes all the way back to Raiko Arozarena. Arozarena already with a couple of saves tonight. Same thing for Charlie Lanfier. This is Locker. Antonoglu. All the way back to Guillen. Tenoglu. His cross cleared out by Malik Howell. Corner kick coming up here for Las Vegas. We approach first half stoppage time. Giorgio Probo, second season with Las Vegas. Noel, he's fouled. Cherry, maybe a little lucky to get away without a card there, Chris.
Yeah, I thought that was a dead cert. Noel took a great first touch. Looked like he was heading off to the races there. His first touch had beaten them all, ends up there just taken out unceremoniously, and normally that would be a yellow card.
Very many stoppages in this first half, and so just 1 minute added on here. First half stoppage time brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. Kava, Noel couldn't keep that ball in. 30 seconds left of the allotted 1 minute. Rodriguez is down. I'd be shocked if we didn't see a stoppage here for a head injury.
I think it was the way he landed, and yeah, I think he's maybe, I can't tell if it's his head or his ankle the way he landed, because he kind of scrunched up while he was in midair to try and get his head on the ball, and yeah, he's feeling that right side. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, but he felt something right away.
What a big blow that would be to Las Vegas Lights. Already 5 goals in just 8 appearances for Johnny Rodriguez, and you mentioned it, Chris, in the build-up. He is your reigning USL Championship Goal of the Week winner. Let's take another look here.
It's really hard to tell whether it was the fact it hit him on the side of the head. If that's the case, then maybe it's he's not being checked for concussion protocol, so you can only assume it's the way he landed there. It was just really awkward. That whole movement was just very, very awkward.
Well, he's back onto the pitch and looks to be okay. As New Mexico, one final opportunity here before the break. They turn the ball over, and now Lights looking to turn up the heat. Here's Pinzon. Overlapping run. Pope. His cross blocked. That's the end of the first half here in Albuquerque, and we are all square between the black and yellow and Las Vegas Lights. Niall Reed-Steven opening up the scoring 32 minutes in. The answer back just 8 minutes later by Olex Anderson, Chris.
Yeah, really exciting first half. Both teams played a huge part in it. It's really been back and forth. I think we're in for an exciting second half if this continues.
We'll go ahead and step aside. We've got halftime coming your way.
Game on at New Mexico's ultimate game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's book is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
Welcome back here to Albuquerque. It is all square at the break between New Mexico United and Las Vegas Lights FC. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris Hurst. Let's go ahead and jump right into some of our halftime programming here. Let's start out first with a look at some of the scores here from around the league. Chris, it's a very, very busy weekend in the USL Championship. We already saw some of the scores from earlier during that first half, most notably Lou City getting shut out at home by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't happen very often. And the other one as well with Tampa Bay, who are flying high in the East as well, conceding only their 5th goal of the season.
Here we see a couple of more game updates here for you, as we've got Lexington. This was last night, as they're able to finally pick up a win. They were off to a bit of a slow start. Lexington, of course, led by former New Mexico United assistant coach Matt Hemme. And last night, also on the late night, Switchbacks and Orange County drawing 2-2. I'm sure New Mexico United fans happy to see the points split between those two. You see newcomers Brooklyn FC, they got shut out by Loudoun 1-0. Hartford able to double up on Detroit City earlier today, as we were able to touch on that a little bit earlier. Chris, Hartford giving themselves quite the start to the season. Sporting Jacks, on the contrary, they're struggling a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jacksonville, a really tough start to life in the USL Championship. Still looking for that first win.
Sporting Jacks minus 14 on the goal differential, so they're looking to figure things out. Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings, see what the picture looks like here. This was coming into the weekend. Las Vegas at 9th, New Mexico in 10th. Since that Lexington victory last night, they've now leapfrogged both of the clubs, and they sit in 9th in the live table. But, Chris, the main thing for New Mexico is just looking at that number in the first column, and that's games played. There you see they've got 1, 2, even 3 games in hand on pretty much everybody else in the conference.
Yeah, and that's going to take a while to catch up there, and really for the league table to balance out. New Mexico United, if you look at the wins, losses, and things like that, it's no one's really running away with it this year. There's no team that's just absolutely destroying it, and it is in many, many years. It looks like it's going to be another year of the Wild West.
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for New Mexico. We've got this game here this evening. They make the trip up I-25 north to take on Colorado Springs Switchbacks at Widener Field next Saturday. And then, as we mentioned, we're back for another double dip on Wednesday, May 20th versus the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And then it's a showdown between the two black and yellow clubs in New Mexico United and Charleston Battery on May 23rd. That one, schools out night. A very rare run for the black and yellow, Chris, where they play 3 straight matches against the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting proposition for them as well. Excited to see when Tampa Bay come into town with their defense, and Charleston's always a fun game as well.
A quick look at our player of the week. It is none other than Peter Wilson from Oakland Roots. Can't stop scoring. Peter Wilson, player of the week, presented by eFootball. Up next, we've got our team of the week, and we saw this one. Chris, a lot of familiar faces if you're New Mexico United fans, just from some of the teams we've played over the years. Remy Cabral getting the nod from Tulsa. You see Jamali Waite as well there. The goalie for Tampa Bay, you mentioned how good their defense is. He's the one keeping things going between the sticks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll do the party line of, it's a team defending and things like that. But yeah, it obviously helps. And New Mexico United are no strangers to having a good goalkeeper between the sticks, and how that helps. And any team that is successful does have that really important and that really strong spine.
Tied up here at the break between New Mexico United and Las Vegas Lights. We'll step aside and we'll be back here in just a moment.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
It is halftime in the USL Championship. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the headlines from the championship. Last week we learned a lesson. Never leave a match early if the outcome is in doubt. 3 matches were decided in added time, beginning with Colorado Springs, grabbing a 3-3 draw with San Antonio in the 100th minute. Peter Wilson headed home the game-tying goal for Oakland Roots in a 2-2 draw with Loudoun United. And Michel Benitez cleaned up a saved penalty kick in added time to lead Sacramento Republic to a 3-2 win over Orange County. Louisville City's run to the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup earned the club $50,000 in prize money for being the furthest advancing team from the USL Championship. Lou City won a regulation wins tiebreaker with Colorado Springs to get the prize. It's still early in the season, but a trend that's helping the top clubs winning at home. Entering Week 10, 7 clubs above the playoff line in their respective conferences are unbeaten at home, so far led by San Antonio in the West, Tampa Bay in the East. Upcoming national broadcasts, AC Boise and FC Naples next Wednesday in League One. Then it's Richmond Kickers and Charleston Battery in the USL Cup. Rhode Island hosts Brooklyn. All 3 matches are on the CBS Sports Network. Now the second half is getting closer. Let's get you back out to your match.
Great USL update there as we're back at the lab here in Albuquerque. We're all square between New Mexico United and Las Vegas Lights at 1 goal apiece. Why don't we take a look at how we got there with our first half highlights, brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. We're here for you, and we're here to win. And Chris, the party getting started early in this one. Just 3 minutes in, it's New Mexico with the first opportunity and calling out Charlie Lanfear there.
Yeah, and that was a great run by LaCava, puts a decent ball in. New Mexico United early on in the game really looking to get to that end line and cause havoc with some early crosses.
Then, just 11 minutes later, from the corner kick, it's Las Vegas Lights. Raiko Arozarena with some very decisive goalkeeping there, Chris, and then follows it up with the save.
Decisive is right there, just clearing out Kip Keller as well. He might feel that in the morning, but you love to see that from the keeper, taking everything out and dealing with the rebound as well.
Then, 32nd minute, Niall Reed-Steven scores his 3rd goal of the season and his 2nd at the lab.
That was Zico Bailey this time, breaking from midfield, hitting that end line, talked about that already, and then cutting the ball back. Greg Hurst had a bit of it in the middle of the box, and there was Reed-Steven at the back post, able to just pop it into an empty net.
But then, just 8 minutes later, Olex Anderson with the reply for Las Vegas Lights.
Anderson has been very, very lively in the first half. Las Vegas Lights looked like the most likely for them as well. Even didn't notice that during the broadcast. Even took out one of the photographers as well. What a finish that was, in off the far post.
That is how we got to this point. All square, 1 goal apiece. at the halftime break. Chris, these are your halftime stats brought to you by REDW CPAs and advisors. What do these numbers tell you?
I mean, just look at the amount of shots. 15 shots in that first half. New Mexico United dominating possession as well. But Las Vegas Lights playing a really big part in this game as well. They only had 5 shots, but 3 of those on target, which is matching New Mexico United. So looking very dangerous when they do create those opportunities.
Well, an exciting second half ahead as we step aside. We'll be back with the second half.
In the land of enchantment, every move counts. That's why you need New Mexico Orthopedics to get you back doing the things you love. The official orthopedic surgeons of New Mexico United. Somos Unidos.
When you join the New Mexico State Police, you're stepping into more than a patrol car. You're stepping into possibility. From tactical missions to underwater recoveries, from negotiating under pressure and mastering the skies with cutting-edge drone technology, our specialized teams go beyond the ordinary. If you're looking for a challenge, teamwork, and the chance to be part of something bigger, your path starts here. Join the legacy. Join New Mexico State Police.
Game on at New Mexico's ultimate game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's book is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
In the land of enchantment, every move counts. That's why you need New Mexico Orthopedics to get you back doing the things you love. The official orthopedic surgeons of New Mexico United. Somos Unidos.
Welcome back here to the lab in Albuquerque. Tyler Ortega alongside Chris Hurst. We've got the second half kickoff coming up here in just a moment between New Mexico United and Las Vegas Lights. And Chris, we just had a look at those first half highlights. You saw the 2 goals, one coming from Niall Reed-Steven, followed up by Olix Anderson from Las Vegas. That's a quick look at Nico Hamalainen. We're hearing there's one change at the break for New Mexico. Kip Keller off, and he's replaced by Chris Gloucester.
Yeah, I imagine that was probably predetermined before the game even started. Get 45 minutes under his belt on the road to recovery. Chris Gloucester obviously, played a lot of minutes and got through a lot of workload on Wednesday night. So he'll slot in at left back with Hamalainen moving back into the left centre-back role. So basically, now we're back to the starting lineup, except for Rosarena from Wednesday night.
Well, New Mexico looking for their first victory over Las Vegas Lights here at the lab since March 12th, Chris, of 2022. I think New Mexico fans remember the 2 matches from 2024 when Dennis Sanchez brought this light squad in and walked out victorious both times. And how can we forget the last time these 2 teams linked up here, Chris? It was it was late last season. It was August. It was a 2-2 finish. Thomas Among with an 87th minute equalizer for New Mexico.
We mentioned it in the pre-game, just there always seems to be exciting games, fireworks, we said, when these 2 teams take the field. And speaking of fireworks, you see early on there, Malik Howell, it was Locker, tried to go up for a header then. Howell mentioned in the first half that he's just a defender who seems to love defending. It just went straight through the back of Locker.
Reed-Steven had an incredible opportunity there, just couldn't get the ball right. Luckily for New Mexico, it falls to Noel. He finds Bailey. Here's Jabang. Jabang scored on a ball like that last season. I believe it was against Tulsa. And this isn't good. LaCava, he lost his footing and went down, and it got a little awkward there for him.
Yeah, there's been a few players who've lost their footing on that infield little area over there, and that does not look good at all. He almost tried to get back up. And you see his leg just goes from under him. He's actually feeling his hamstring when he's lying on the ground, so maybe you worry about like a twist or not a knee or ankle, but it looks like maybe it might be a little muscle injury on the back of his leg.
That would be a big impact to New Mexico. We talk about Jake LaCava already, 2 assists on the season, Chris, and one of those coming on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as an outside back, that role has changed so much over the years. It used to be, you know, that be maybe as you were growing up, that would be where you would hide someone, perhaps. But you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold, players like that have really brought that position to the forefront of. It's a really important position and a huge attacking role from that position as well.
Let's take another look here on this TLC replay. Foot just kind of slides out from under him there. But the good news, he is back on his feet. He gets a round of applause there from the crowd. He will have to exit for just a moment due to the stoppage. And so, at least for this corner, New Mexico will be 1 man down. That is New Mexico United head athletic trainer Q Higgins, his first season with the club. So it tends to Jake LaCava. Here's Niall Reed-Steven. Can't beat the first man. Cherry plays that ball long. Here's Lockhart. Teenager on a yellow card already. Here's the goal scorer, Anderson. His cross picked out of the air by Raiko Arozarena.
Yeah, I'm sure Anderson was front and center on the tactics board for New Mexico United, how to deal with him, because he was very, very lively, and that was another moment there where he really tested Arozarena. Maybe a little disappointing that he couldn't keep the ball away from him, but it looks very lively on that left-hand side for Las Vegas.
Well, with that halftime substitution, Chris, we see Nico Hamalainen slide back to that center back position, and Chris Gloucester takes up his usual spot at the left back. And like you pointed out, this is basically what New Mexico looked like against El Paso, minus the switch in goal.
Yeah, and that starting lineup, that first half against El Paso, New Mexico United looked very, very lively. Second half, penned in a lot. especially when El Paso went to a 3-5-2. But New Mexico, going back to the tried and trusted.
Here comes Las Vegas. Is Johnny Rodriguez. Could not get on the end of that ball, but the Lights looking dangerous. So it goes all the way back to Lanphier. Charlie Lanphier, native of Washington, 23 years old. Lanphier making just his third professional start here tonight. What an environment to do it in. Harris tracks this ball down, cross, poked in, Ousmane Jabang puts New Mexico on top. It's his second goal at the Lab this season.
It's almost like Jabang saw this coming. He was orchestrating it from 3 passes earlier, demanding the ball into Harris's path. And first time we've really managed to see Deon Harris at full flight. He puts a delicious ball in, and Jabang carries on his run from midfield. First time, just helps the ball on. I think he gets the nutmeg on the keeper as well. Great start to the second half for New Mexico United.
That goal brought to you by Vara Winery and Distillery. Ousmane Jabang scores against his former club. Let's take another look on this TLC replay. Look at this ball from Deon Harris, the playmaker.
Jabang really, all he could do was get his toe on it, and he just helps it on, and he gets enough power on it where he catches him completely off guard. It's through his legs as well. Maybe a little disappointed, but the pace on the cross from Harris is what makes that possible.
Second goal of the season for Ousmane Jabang. And Las Vegas Lights with more work to do. Harris finds Zico Bailey. Bailey looking to play direct here to Reed Stephen, and the offside flag is up. But New Mexico hungry for a third.
This now means that Las Vegas have only managed one game away from home out of 6, where they've only managed to concede less than 2 goals, and that was the opening day of the season against Orange County. Since then, the 4 and now the fifth game, including tonight, at least 2 goals. It's obviously a big problem that they have to solve with so many games on the road in this league.
Well, and for Las Vegas, a lot of those problems, Chris, lie within the opening 15 minutes of the second half. They've conceded 4 goals so far this season in the first 15 minutes of that second half. This looks like Chris Gloucester, excuse me, it was Deon Harris that was down. Gloucester was leaned over checking on him. Deon Harris tonight making his 39th USL Championship appearance for New Mexico United. So far, he scored 4 goals, picked up his eighth assist for New Mexico this evening as well. Incredible to think Deon Harris, Chris, coming off of a torn ACL, the form that he's been able to find under Dennis Sanchez since coming back into the lineup in August of last season, scored some massive goals late last year, continuing that hot streak this year. He's contributed to goals in 4 of his last 5 games here at the Lab.
Yeah, wasn't it the very first game that he came back? He was able to score with San Antonio?
Correct.
Perhaps?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And the big thing you worry about with an injury like a cruciate injury is, does it affect the pace, especially with someone like Harris, where his game is based around like that. That first 5 to 10 yards pace is frightening. We talked about it on Wednesday as well. And it doesn't look like he's missed a step at all. He hasn't lost a step.
We saw Deon Harris on Wednesday against El Paso. He only played 75 minutes. Here he comes again. Harris decides on the shot. Harris tries again. And with the left foot, sends it into the crowd. It's a bad ball from the keeper. Finds Niall Reed-Steven, and that shot deflected. But Las Vegas, Chris, they look like they're a little bit rocked right now.
Yeah, they're a little shell-shocked right now, but New Mexico United so organised in the press there. You could see they almost left that passing lane open, and Las Vegas fell for the trap, and New Mexico set the trap perfectly. And Reed-Steven was just ready to pounce. And it was Jabang who was, again, orchestrating it there in the midfield of where the ball was potentially going to go. And Reed-Steven just took that extra touch. He took that second touch, which just allowed the defender to get back into position to get the block.
It's another Topo Chico hard seltzer corner kick. Reed-Steven with the left foot. And sent out by Ochere. Abraham Ochere, the 23-year-old Ghanaian, came in as a sub last match. There's Jabang. Rakava again slips on that grass. Noel finds Lakava! And he had all the pace in the world behind that ball, Chris.
He mentioned he was struggling to keep his feet in the build-up to that, but then the ball just found him. D on top of the 18-yard box there, and he decides why not with his weaker left foot. Absolutely smashes a shot over the bar, and there's a little deflection. There's the keeper, Lanfier, who gets a touch there to create another corner for New Mexico.
Charlie Lanfier, the former Seattle University goalkeeper, he has been under fire here tonight. This ball goes in, and Reed-Steven just keeping an eye on that near post, it looked like. So we're going to see the first change for Las Vegas. There's Manuel Arteaga is on for the lights. I'm sure New Mexico United fans probably thinking, gee, that name sounds pretty familiar. He scored 15 goals for Phoenix Rising during the 2023 season. Speaking of scoring goals, I'll read Steven keeping the pressure on. Here's Anderson. This could be trouble. Rodriguez! And it just goes over the crossbar as New Mexico breathe a sigh of relief. Johnny Rodriguez in disbelief.
Yeah, Rodriguez really believes that there was a deflection on that shot there, but it looks like he just snatched at it a little bit. Get a chance to have a look here. Great little set, little back heel. Yeah, it does look like it took a deflection. You can just see the spin on the ball. Yeah, I think Las Vegas Lights can feel like maybe a little unlucky there not to have a corner, not an opportunity to put the ball in the box there. It looks like Las Vegas Lights have maybe switched their formation up a little bit, gone pretty much a straight 4-4-2. And in possession, it really looks like a 4-2-4, really pushing to try and get back in this game here.
You look at a guy like Manuel Arteaga, Chris. You mentioned that 15-goal season he had for Phoenix Rising in 2023. Well, he followed that up in 2024 by scoring 18 goals for Tampa Bay Rowdies. As that cross goes in, and that, very lucky for New Mexico, there wasn't any more support arriving for Las Vegas.
Yeah, it was that man again, Anderson. He's been a thorn in the side of New Mexico United on that left-hand side for Lights. So fast and so positive and so direct. Just looks to put the ball in dangerous areas all the time, and that was another example of that.
Here's Antonoglu. Canadian just can't get his foot to that ball. This is Hamalainen. Lakava sees some space. Noel. Jones able to stick a foot in there. Well, fans, you can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN. That is the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Leon Harris on the floor. Foul called on Christian Pinzon. Pinzon just getting a little talking to there. Final between Rhode Island and Tampa Bay. That one ends all square. A couple of Eastern Conference heavyweights, and then underway out in the Bay as the Roots hosting El Paso. Locomotive with an early lead in that one. Who else? Rubio Rubin drawing first blood for the Locomotive just 3 minutes in. Gloucester, baseball cut out. We showed that Rhode Island and Tampa Bay score there, Chris. Rhode Island with a late equalizer. Lights looking for an equalizer of their own. Here's Anderson. Anderson rattles the crossbar. Massive opportunity for Las Vegas. Gone by there, Chris.
I mean, yeah, you could say that again. Huge opportunity. He'll be so disappointed, but I'm tired of saying Anderson's name. He is being in the limelight tonight, and he really should do better. He has the goal at his mercy, steps inside Jabang there. And he goes for pure power. I think the crossbar's still rattling a minute and a bit later. And yeah, he could just pass it into the bottom corner perhaps. Easy to say from up here, I know, but goes for pure power and absolutely smashes the crossbar.
Well, we're going to see 2 changes now for Dennis Sanchez. Looks like Greg Hurst and Valentin Noel will make way. They're both replaced by Gideon Zalalem and Justin Renix. Zalalem just with, looked like some instructions there for Ousmane Jabang maybe. Or it was actually the captain's armband, it looks like. One more thing to call out, Chris, from that El Paso game. El Paso down to 10 men. Defender Arturo Ortiz, 18th minute red card, Chris.
That's a problem in El Paso. We talked about this on Wednesday night. I believe that's their 5th red card of the season already. In 9 under 10 games, and they've already got 5 red cards. And last time they got a red card, that was against Tulsa, and that game went south really quickly. Once it went, it went. They managed to hang on for a while, and it was right before half-time after a 10th minute or 11th minute red card for Gabi Torres. So, yeah, maybe a little bit of a discipline problem down there.
Zico Bailey goes into the book, 68 minutes in. That yellow card brought to you by the guys at Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call Ferguson Law Firm, New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years. Well, fans, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. This is Aaron Guillen. Spent the last handful of seasons in Tampa Bay. Made over 100 appearances for the club. Cross goes in, was looking for Johnny Rodriguez there at the near post.
Just want to shout out, actually, it was El Paso. It's only their 3rd red card in the league. I think they got a 4th, but that might have been in the cup competition. But still, so many red cards, and again, so decisive in previous games as well. You need to get a lid on that.
Here comes the corner for Las Vegas. Far post, and it was headed away. There's Arteaga. Cross goes in. Rodriguez. He was way under that one. Johnny Rodriguez, 42 goals in his USL Championship career, Chris. So you talk about somebody that is proven. Majority of those goals coming at Oakland roots. 28 of them to be exact. But he has been on a very hot start to start this season. 5 goals. He also added 9 last season. Just 27 years old.
And it's probably a worrying thing for New Mexico United that Las Vegas have caused him so many issues, and he's been relatively quiet. If he finds his way into this game, that could spell trouble for the black and yellow.
It's a great touch initially there from Rodriguez, native of Fresno, California. Pope Ball takes a deflection all the way back to Raiko Arozarena. Arozarena, a couple of saves this evening. Here's Renix. Second half substitute Justin Renix wins the corner.
That was really no frills play there by New Mexico United, with Arozarena just pinging a ball down the field, and Renix forever the willing runner there as well, and not afraid of a little contact too.
Justin Renix already for New Mexico, 2 goals in all competitions. Scored once in the league, scored once in USL Cup play. Scored in the season opener for New Mexico in Oakland. He's assisted by Kava. Here's Zico Bailey. He can hit him from here. Zico Bailey from long distance. New Mexico at a third.
I think that one might have come from the training ground based on the reaction of the league goalkeeping coach and assistant coaches on the sideline. I think that was exactly how they drew it up and fell to the right guy in the right place. Zico Bailey, like you said, he has those in his locker. And right now with that 2-goal cushion, it looks a long way back for Las Vegas.
That goal very reminiscent of the brace that he scored in the US Open Cup against Real Salt Lake. On this field, on that goal, Chris, just takes a touch. He has all the time in the world and sends it right by Lanfear.
You see, absolutely pings it, and it just bounces just in front of Lanfear. So that just makes it that all the more difficult for the goalkeeper to judge and deal with as well. Came a long way. I don't think there was many bodies. Lanfear maybe could think that he could have done a little better, but what a strike by Zico Bailey.
And just like that, the 2025 USL Championship Goal of the Year winner is off the mark in 2026, Chris. Zico Bailey's first goal since September 10th of last season. He struck just 5 minutes in against Le Rouge, Detroit City here at the Lab. Fans, New Mexico United fans know it very well. It was from beyond midfield. As Las Vegas looked to pull one back. Anderson again able to get down to the end line and play a ball in.
Yeah, Las Vegas, we mentioned that they're not unfamiliar with the 3-2 scoreline away from home, so you wouldn't bet against it right now either, pushing to get back in this game. Interestingly, after the goal scored, Zico Bailey, every opportunity he has, just stretching out. It looks like maybe his hamstring, so might be feeling a little bit of cramp.
Couple of defensive substitutions for New Mexico. You see it. Cam Wilkerson and Will Seymour come on. Jake LaCava and Dayon Harris will make way. What a shift from Jake LaCava, not just tonight, Chris, but really here this whole week. As we saw the squad here on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and that can't be forgotten about either. You know, Las Vegas had a longer week. Yes, they've had to travel to New Mexico, but that game on Wednesday night, it's obviously, especially against a team like El Paso who are flying right now, take it out of the legs, and a lot of the same players, you know, the squad is really getting stretched right now.
It looks like Las Vegas are going to make some changes of their own. So the captain, Christian Pinzon, will make way. He'll be replaced by Ben Mines. also looks like Olix Anderson will make way as well, Chris. I'm sure New Mexico United fans breathing a sigh of relief seeing him go off.
Yeah, that's really surprising. When I saw his number pop up on the board, I really didn't see that coming, because he's been a thorn in the side of New Mexico United for the entire evening.
New Mexico looking for a fourth. Zalalem plays it back. Wilkerson. Foul and a yellow. Pulled out immediately. It's Probo going into the book. '78th minute yellow card for the Italian. Did miss one substitution a few moments ago for Las Vegas. It was Knight Pickering who is on for Lights. All of these substitutions are brought to you by Chiba Hut, toasted subs and sandwiches. Well, Knight Pickering, just 21 years old, Chris. He's an 05. He's in his 5th season as a professional soccer player. 95 career professional appearances for the 21-year-old. Here's Reed Steven. Finds Zico Bailey. Lucas applying the pressure here, and a yellow card pulled out and shown to Manuel Arteaga. And Arteaga is furious. He's got to be careful here that he doesn't get a second. But the Venezuelan certainly feeling some type of way about that one.
I think he got a touch on the ball. I think Arteaga got a touch on the ball. It was just two very committed. We talked about Malik Howell earlier on, about how committed he is. He's a defender who loves to defend. I just think Arteaga beat Malik Howell to the ball, and maybe the referee's just seen Howell go down injured and felt that, but then the reaction is what has given him license to go with the yellow card, but maybe a little unlucky there with the initial decision anyway.
Good defending there as Gloucester whistled for the foul. Well, we knew it would be a good crowd here tonight, Chris. We've got our official attendance number in tonight, and it's 8,655. Attendance brought to you by New Mexico Mutual. Another great crowd here at the Lab. The black and yellow faithful showing up not once but twice this week here, Chris. Looking to see their side remain unbeaten. Currently riding an 8-match unbeaten streak here at the Lab. Well, fans, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. SeatGeek also the official ticketing provider of New Mexico United. So if you're thinking of coming out to the Lab, reminder, there's another double dip on May 20th and May 23rd. And on SeatGeek, get your tickets. New Mexico looking for a fourth. Wilkerson eventually just runs out of real estate, but keeps the pressure on. And the foul called against the 21-year-old. bit overzealous that time in his pursuit.
Yeah, just ran into like maybe a little bit of a cul-de-sac there, and Las Vegas did a good job of doubling up on him in the corner there. And yeah, maybe a little eager. I'm not sure Las Vegas were going to go anywhere with that clearance there. So a free pass with the free kick.
It looks like Devin Rensing emptying out his substitutions. So it's Jelani Forbes, one of the two substitutions, and Ben Ofemu, the other. Again, those substitutions brought to you by Chiba Hut, toasted subs and sandwiches. 83 minutes gone by here at the lab. New Mexico on top. Usman Jabang with the go-ahead goal. Zico Bailey with the insurance goal. Bailey able to find Renix. Renix thought he was fouled there by Jones. No whistle from Denny Kolasinac. Renix just comes back to just make sure that whistle works. Off the restart. Still a couple of matches to finish up after us here this evening, Chris. Phoenix hosting San Antonio. And as we mentioned, El Paso in the lead against Oakland Roots, although down to 10 men. Here come New Mexico. Can they put the nail in the coffin? Bailey goes back to Jabang. Goal scorer to goal scorer. Zalalam passes to Dennis Sanchez.
And Zico Bailey's starting to enjoy his night now. He's popping up all over the place. You can see he's definitely feeling it in the back of his legs, though. Maybe a touch of cramp. But he's really, second half, taking control of this game, along with Jabang in the middle of the park, just sitting a little deeper and giving Zico Bailey the freedom to bomb on.
Foul called there against Jelani Forbes. Forbes, 24 years old. Spent last season, split time actually, between North Carolina FC of the USL Championship and also Crown Legacy FC. It's the two team for Charlotte in the MLS Next Pro Division. Rosarena taking his time. Just 5 minutes plus stoppage time remain in this one as New Mexico looking for their first win at home over Las Vegas Lights since March of 2022. Harry Swartz and Nico Brett on the score sheet that day for the black and yellow. Reed Steven is down, holding the back of his head.
I think he just caught a stray arm from Guillen there when the ball was in the air, but nothing malicious and nothing intentional at all.
Take another look here on this TLC replay. It didn't look to be anything there from Guillen. in late here at the lab, and we'd like to let you know that if you can't watch the match, you can turn on Sirius XM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Bodies hitting the ground, but we play on. So with the current live table here, Chris, New Mexico have momentarily snuck above the playoff line into 8th. So they look to start making up some ground as Rodriguez, as that ball poked off his foot by Malik Howell. Wilkerson, it's easy to tell the fresh legs of Cam Wilkerson. Forbes defended by Seymour. 88th minute. Cross went in. It's in a dangerous area that time. Looks like, I believe that's Malik Howell down for New Mexico, and it is. So the trainer will come on to look at the Jamaican international. New Mexico center back is one area that really can't afford any injuries, Chris. We saw Keller, making his way back from injury tonight with 45 minutes. We saw Tyler Blackett, who made his debut for the club, got in 20 minutes, and then, as we understand, he's also been unavailable for selection both matches this week as well, and so already a little bit thin at the position. If you're Dennis Sanchez, you don't want to see this.
Yeah, and again, you hope that's just cramp, but you could see him on the screen there as Howell was walking off the pitch, feeling the back of his leg, and you hope that's a little bit of cramp. Maybe it's a little bit of tenderness from the clash he had not that long ago with Arteaga. It looks like he's been able to walk it off and he's going to be able to rejoin the action, but a little worrying when you see it. I mean, it has been a heavy workload week, but when you see so many people mentioned Zico Bailey earlier on was stretching out as well. He's got through so many miles this week with the double game week. And with New Mexico United playing catch up in terms of games played, we're going to run into problems like this where, again, the squad is going to really be stretched and tested.
When you look at these two players specifically, Malik Howell went the distance on Wednesday night, played all 90 minutes against El Paso, and it's not like he was just out there faffing about, Chris. He was having to defend one of the league's most lethal attacks against Rubio, Rubin, Calvillo, Armando Moreno, whoever is out there for El Paso. And then tonight, already 90 minutes gone by. And same thing for Zico Bailey, 85 minutes against El Paso, 90 minutes here tonight.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't faffing about, that's for sure. Yeah, it was a really intense game that he was a part of, and again, trying to lock that down. And El Paso really threw everything at New Mexico United to get back in the game, where they eventually broke through as well, but that second half was a lot of workload.
4 minutes added on here at the end of the 90. Stoppage time brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, the taste of enchantment. Renix gives chase to this ball. And it wins a throw, and actually 5 minutes added on here. Well, fans, we want to let you know that eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball. It's free to play. Download now. Well, this could be a big result for New Mexico here tonight, Chris, and then we look ahead for the black and yellow. Hang on just a second. Jabang was looking to add to his tally. Reed Stephen plays this back to Zelalem and gets it back, but going back to what I was saying, huge matchup next weekend in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, I'm excited. I actually get to go to that game. I've never been to the new stadium up in Colorado Springs, so excited to see that. But yeah, two teams looking to climb the ladder, and there's always a little bit of extras, because of the proximity of the two teams, and obviously during that COVID season they played so many times as well. So very, very familiar foes.
Gideon Zelalem goes into the officials' book here in second half stoppage time. Zelalem last year led New Mexico with 11 yellows. Getting that yellow card brought to you by the guys at Ferguson Law Firm. This sets up an opportunity here for Manuel Arteaga. Arteaga made his professional debut at 16 years old. Here's Arteaga. And what a save from Raiko Arozarena.
He's had to be on his toes there, Arozarena. There's not been a lot since Las Vegas have made those last round of subs. I'm going to bring it back to Anderson. He was so lively and chances really dried up for them since he went off the pitch. But that was a great strike and did well, moved his feet semi-comfortable in the end.
Save of the night right there from Arozarena. Howell went down as he crossed paths with Johnny Rodriguez. And it's Arozarena now down on the pitch. The official just signaling that he's stopped his watch. But Chris, this not good for New Mexico as Arozarena grabbing at the back of his leg.
And now he's getting stretched out for cramp a little bit. I mean, it's been a while since, he's obviously been fighting to come back. He's getting his calf stretched out, but he's feeling his hamstring.
Giorgio Probo over there to check on his former teammates. Arozarena back on his feet. There's one thing about Raiko Arozarena. He's a veteran. Arozarena with a critical grab there.
And again, he had to be on his toes again there, and there was a split second where there was a little collective holding of their breath in the stadium here as they thought maybe he might carry the ball over the goal line. But used all his experience to make sure that didn't happen.
Lennox concedes the goal kick. Las Vegas looking to get forward. New Mexico telling everybody to get back. Here's Rodriguez. He can turn something out of nothing. Past the 5 minutes of stoppage time. New Mexico fans asking for the whistle. Arteaga played forward, crosses in, and it's dealt with by Malik Howell. We knew there would be time added on just due to the stoppage from Arozarena going down. Put away by Seymour initially. Ball still bouncing around, and Arozarena grabs that ball, and that is the full-time whistle here at the Lab. New Mexico victorious over Las Vegas Lights at home for the first time since March of 2022. Zico Bailey awarded your play of the match, presented by Vara Winery and Distillery, for his 73rd minute banger from distance. Zico Bailey also your man of the match tonight for his goal and an assist performance. And your defensive player of the match goes to Usman Jabang, brought to you by Valley Fence. Chris, 4 goals scored tonight.
Yeah, and it's the travel woes of Las Vegas Lights that have stung them again, with 3 goals conceded on the road. Not for the first time this season, and New Mexico United able to take advantage of that.
Huge 3 points here tonight for New Mexico as they look to start climbing the Western Conference ladder. Usman Jabang scoring in the 53rd minute. He's your defensive player of the match. We'll step aside here from Albuquerque. We'll be back with our full-time highlights.
Game on at New Mexico's ultimate game day destination, Sandia Sportsbook. With live wagering 7 days a week, Albuquerque's book is ready for action. Bet at Sandia Sportsbook or at kiosk locations on the casino floor. Sandia Sportsbook offers amazing food and drink specials with spectacular views. Sports betting has come to Sandia. Sandia Sportsbook. Game on.
Back here at the Lab, Chris, and they'll be two-stepping to the tune of 3 points here tonight as New Mexico victorious over Las Vegas Lights on country night by a score of 3-1. Let's take a look at our full-time highlights, brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. We're here for you, and we're here to win. And Chris, let's get the party started. 32 minutes in, it's the Barbados international, Niall Reed-Stephen, with his 3rd goal of the USL Championship season.
Yeah, that was Zico Bailey driving to the end line there, and it was Greg Hurst in the middle who had a first bit at it. Evades the defenders of Las Vegas Lights, and there's Reed-Stephen at the back post to pop it into an empty net.
Reed-Stephen has been in fine form to start the campaign for the black and yellow, but 8 minutes later, Las Vegas with the counterpunch.
And it was that man Anderson. We talked about him a lot during the broadcast. What a great through ball it was, and what a finish as well, in off the post and taking out the photographer and the celly afterwards as well.
And for Olex Anderson, that was his 2nd goal of the campaign and just his 3rd appearance. He's an absolute weapon for Las Vegas Lights and their fans, getting to know that in his first season with the club. Now, let's fast forward. We've got second half action. New Mexico here 53 minutes in. Usman Jabang scores his 2nd goal, not just of the season, but 2nd goal at home this year.
You see just the perfect placement of that cross from Deon Harris. And all Jabang can do is get his toe on it. It uses all the pace off the cross as well. Not just wrong foot. The keeper then ends up going through his legs. And that was the go-ahead goal for New Mexico United.
Jabang finding the back of the net against his former club. And then New Mexico, they weren't done yet. 20 minutes later, dialing long distance, Zico Bailey
Yeah, short corner routine for New Mexico United. Finds Zico Bailey just outside the corner of the 18-yard box. Drives a low shot. You can see it just bounces just in front of Lamphere. And it can't do anything with it. And the benches, the coaching staff go absolutely nuts.
First goal since last September for Zico Bailey. These are your full-time stats brought to you by REDW, CPAs, and advisors. Chris, so many shots tonight.
Yeah, I mean, what a fun game. I mean, I'm thinking of the Gladiator. Are you not entertained? Because it was really just a back and forth game, and Las Vegas Lights really played their part in a really entertaining game as well. But look at that, 18 shots by New Mexico United, 7 on target, and 14 by Las Vegas. A really, really fun game to be a part of.
And so up next for New Mexico, it's a trip up I-25 North for a date with the Switchbacks at Widener Field before they return home for a double dip on May 20th and May 23rd. That's going to do it for us here tonight. New Mexico victorious over Las Vegas. For everybody part of our crew here tonight, for our producer, Gary Williams, for Chris Hurst on color, my name is Tyler Ortega. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.